it's Wicked again, and welcome to part 2 of our drawing a landscape for intermediates. And this is where we left off. Okay, we filled in all our yellows in there on the mountain. So we're going to go ahead and go to our blue again. Okay, and then we're going to kind of lightly go over our brown. We're going to lightly fill that in, and you'll see it's starting to look blue, and that's okay, because what we're going to do is obviously go back over it to help blend it in. Okay, so you're just going to lightly go over all your brown. Just start filling it in the same way. Okay, again, trying to avoid your trees. You don't want to leak into that too much. So just start filling in around it. Continue around. If you do happen to go inside your trees or something a little bit, it's okay. Like I said, we're all just learning, practice different ways to control your hand movements a little bit. But accidents happen, and it's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to keep filling this in. Going around our tree. Go ahead and hit up this other side right here. Come up here to the top. Do the same thing. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to switch back to our light brown again. Okay, this time I'm going to put a little bit more pressure. We're going to really work on trying to fill in those white gaps. So just making it a little bit more solid. And depending on the kind of paper you have, it just may not be possible to make it completely solid, but either way, just going back over and darkening it up, blending it in with that blue. So it's going to take a little time. Just go back over it. Again, good art takes time. Keep filling that in. So you can see it's darkening it up while mixing in with those blues. You just gotta be real careful when you're going around those trees again. Just try your best not to get inside of there. Just work your way over, fill those in. And the best thing to do for this, especially when you guys get into the homework of trying to draw your own landscape, it's completely 100% okay to just go on to Google or something and type in landscape photo reference, and then you just try to recreate that picture. And then when you get better at just looking at those things and seeing what those shapes and stuff look like, you can start to create your own without having to look at anything. So I'm going to come on this back side, fill that in. Up here, this top, and go over this area, which you didn't really hit up with that blue, so let's take our blue real quick and lightly go over that and do one more touch up with the brown. Okay, now I want you to switch to your dark brown. Okay, so we're going to come in here and we're going to make some shapes here to kind of really give us a divide here. I'm just going to fill that in. Just kind of going over it. Again, trying to fill in as much of those white gaps as we can. Okay, I'm going to stretch it out this way. Just keep pushing it. So just trying to fill it in as much as possible. It's obviously not going to be possible to get everything, but again, just do the best we can with our colored pencils. So I'm going to kind of turn this direction. Leave some of that lighter color up there. Down, come back up this area. Okay. And we're going to just keep going. All along the bottom here, you want to kind of change shape up. I'm going to fill in this area a little bit more. Okay. And then bring it down. Try and leave a little bit left there. Just filling in some of these areas a little bit extra. Just going to keep going, work our way up this back end, and then head up across the bottom over here. Back side, really fill this in just because it'll look more natural with the shading down there. Alright, so just work that in there. That should be good enough for that. Now I want to take that light brown again. Okay, we're going to come to these little edges here. on our yellow. And we're going to very lightly, see I'm holding one of my fingertips again. I'm going to very lightly go across and stop before this edge line here. So I'm going to fill that in lightly. So anywhere there's yellow, as I get close to the edge, I'm going to kind of not fill that in. The rest of it, I'm going to go over lightly. Okay. So keep working my way over. And obviously these front mountains are going to take a little bit more time than the others just because we have more of it shown. Okay, so we're going to keep doing that. Come across this bottom area. Slightly come up here to the top. Again, don't get too close to that edge. Leave that yellow. Just lightly fill that in. And we'll finish off this larger mountain on the top. Just like that. And we're going to switch to our orange. Okay, so we're going to go over that lightly, but we're only going to go about halfway with the orange. So I'm not going to push it too close up to the top. So I'm going to lightly just go over that. Across the bottom. And then once we're done with that, we're going to use our yellow and our light brown again, but that's where the blending is going to come in to let it keep more of that rocky looking texture. Okay, so let's just do the one more over here. And what this is just a reflection of that sunset bouncing off the sky. So let's take our yellow. Okay, let's smooth that out. So we're going to put some pressure on it, and we're going to fill that in. Just really going to smooth it out. Okay, so we'll kind of flatten out your line movements a little bit. Just keep working your way across. Smooth those out. Come to the back end. Smooth those out as well. And come up here to the top. Do the same. Smoothing that out, and continue to do so. And if it doesn't turn out to be 100% perfect, I mean, at least you've learned something from the process about what colors work, what colors don't work. It's kind of the whole point. Okay, so now I'm going to take my orange, Alright, and I'm going to blend that in over the top of this brown. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go across the whole thing with the orange. Fill that in. Again, it's okay if you go outside a little bit, but do try to control it. And then our last step is going to be using that light brown again to kind of bring it back to that earthy tone. I'm just kind of going over it. Okay, just keep filling that in. Just in those brown areas. End over here. Okay, and we have a little bit up here and over here. Okay, so now let's do like I said. I'm going to sharpen my pencil real quick. I'm going to switch back to our light brown, and that's where the blending is really going to come in. So we want to really try to solidify this out and smooth it, especially between the edges of our dark. So again, I'm just kind of going back over the whole color. Blending that together. It'll help darken out some of those areas, especially that region down here at the bottom. So we're trying to blend in that edge. And I'm putting some pressure, not a lot. I'm not trying to like completely darken up my picture. But you can kind of push up the edges a little bit of that yellow and orange, kind of smooth it out, and just continue your way along down this back side. Smooth out this back so it's not so scratchy looking. Okay, come up in here, touch up in that area, push out to the yellow just a tad, and up here in the top. Okay, so now that we have that, fill in these areas a little bit closer, at least for me anyway, down by my trees. Okay, so now we have that. The next thing I want to do is do the next set back here, except it's going to be a little bit lighter. We're not going to be as dark, so the farther we push back, the darker it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with our yellow. So I'm going to lightly, I have to press down hard, I'm going to lightly get a yellow tint back there. Come over here to this top, do the same thing. Okay. Come up over here, get this edge, and up here on this top here. Okay, and then let's do this back one. We're gonna do really light. Don't put as much pressure. I'm gonna press a little harder just so you can see it, but I'm gonna go real light up in that area. Okay. So now switch back to your light brown. Okay. And we're gonna go super light. And we're gonna fill that in. Now I'm gonna fill in as much as the white as I can, but I am holding it with my fingertips, okay? So I'm really not putting any pressure on this paper. I am just going back over some of the areas so there's less and less of that white in between spaces, okay? So I'm just going to work my way through these back mountains and really fill it in. Take my time, fill in as much of it as possible, okay? Again, the goal is not to make it darker, we want it to be lighter. So I'm just going to keep going over it with this light coloring and take out as much of those white specks as I can. And just work my way all the way across, okay? Now we do still need to add some color to it to blend in so that it's going to kind of go with our sunset a little bit. So again, I'm just filling it in as much as I can, as lightly as I can. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go super light. Now I'm going to press down hard for you guys, a little bit harder. You should like barely touch the paper and just fill it in as much as you possibly can. Okay, so you're going to go the lightest you can go with it and just really fill it in as much as you can. Alright, so I'm going to take my orange, I'm going to go super light over here up to a point, super light, go over my brown, super light, okay, come over here, same thing. I'm not going to go all the way up on the yellow. I'm going to make sure that I stay light. Yeah, and if you notice, as I go lightly over it, it does do a slight color change, but it doesn't make it super dark. So we can use that still to have that difference between our mountains. So again, only going to come up about halfway in that yellow and go over that brown light. Same thing back here. Okay, and I'm going to do yellow again. I'm going to go over lightly over that yellow just to try to, or that orange to try to blend it in some. Okay, so just lightly go over your yellow, just kind of, or your orange, so you just kind of smoothing that out. Okay, so I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on it. Overall, this is just a nice practice of blending and smoothing colors too. So then switch back to your light brown one more time and just go over it again. Okay, again we're going to press lightly. Just continue to do that across your mountains, and then we'll be done with those. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to keep moving over. Again, I'm just trying to fill in as much as possible, as lightly as possible. Just again, so we don't have too much gapping. And like I said, it's more of an impressionism, version of a picture. Okay, so get this last peak over here. And that'll take care of that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and we'll do the sky last, and we'll move on to our tree so we can start seeing that. Alright. Now we have all these browns and oranges and yellows, and we want to kind of contrast. Now our tree trunk is going to be brown. There's nothing we can avoid about that. That's what a tree looks like. But our leaves, however, we can keep with the warm colors, but pump it out more with adding some reds in there. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is we're going to lightly come into our tree here, and start filling that in. So we're going to do that all the way through all the branches and the trunk. Just every part of the tree that is wood, you're going to go ahead and just lightly fill in with your light brown, okay? Take my time up on these skinny branches because I want to try not to get, I mean if you do it's fine, but I'm going to try not to get as much brown into the leaf section as I can. I just want to keep it on the tree. Okay. So this is going to be a very warm colored picture when we're done. Just go ahead and fill in those branches. And we're almost done here. Just got a small area left past this branch. So just like before, I'm going to sharpen my dark brown real quick. Okay, so just like before, when we're like down in here, we had all these dark grass blades. Okay, we're going to have some dark regions on our tree. So we're going to go ahead and define those. But first I'm going to really push these blades a little bit more, just so that they don't blend too much with our tree. So let's come down around this bottom edge, down back through here again, and make that stand out. Okay, then we're going to come in here, we're going to leave this top section, we're going to leave some light areas. So just kind of like we did with the mountains, we're going to kind of shape certain areas on our tree. So see how I kind of colored around, leaving this area open. I'm going to come up to the edge right here, okay, and I'm going to open it back up again, going up to this corner on my tree, okay, and I'm going to push this bottom area and make another opening here, going up. I'm going to continue across, make another area in here, like that. Okay, and I'm going to push this back side in. Go ahead and blend that. Okay, and I haven't forgotten about this. Okay, so we're gonna fix that towards the end because it won't take that long. Alright, so I'm gonna fill in this whole back area right here with the dark brown. Okay, and as I come up the front side of the tree, I'm going to leave this edge closest to the curve. I'm going to leave that open. Okay, we're going to come up this way. I'm going to bring it back like that. Go ahead and push this. Come back. Okay, so once you get about right here, let's make another section. Have some light in it, and we're just gonna go around that. Okay, fill in this whole back side. Just like that. Okay, now as we come up, we're gonna make a couple more open areas. I'm going to come up this side and leave this edge a lighter brown. Okay, this whole back area here, since we're turning under to the underside, I'm going to turn that dark and then push up to about this corner on the branch. So you're going to leave the top area light, okay, and then come back down into here. We'll leave a little gap like this, and then we want to push down into this region here. Okay, and then we're going to carry over. So this is the underside where the shadow is going, so I'm going to leave more light up here in this top region. So I'm going to push it up towards the edge. I'll continue to shade that bottom area. Okay. Then we're going to go up this branch, and again I'm going to keep that top edge open, okay, as it turns. I'm going to switch sides, so I'm going to close this off right here, I'm going to leave this back end with a little light on it and turn it this way. And color this bottom region and curve up. So I'm going to leave this area open here. Get as close as I can. And then switch sides again. Just doing this back end over here. Okay, then I'm going to rotate again. I'm going to come to the front this way. Like that. And then turn back under again on the bottom here. Okay, so that's all going to come from just practice with looking at light and where it touches. Again, we're not going for 100% accuracy. We're just doing intermediate. So just enough to make it look good. Okay. Now we need to continue on this way. So I'm going to push out and over, kind of connecting it like this. I'm going to do this back end. And connect it off in this corner. And we're going to rotate and do this underside here. Okay. Then we're going to do the underside of this branch like that, and we can move down to here. So we're going to switch this down. Let's cut that off probably about right there and fill in this. Okay, so give us a branch there. Then I want to retain this underside here, so I'm going to kind of leave this open there. And then I'm going to switch again and do this underside of this branch and continue it up past that area, and then I can just hit the underside right there. Okay. So that's given us our basic tree branch outline. Now what I want to do, excuse me, is I want to take some of this orange, okay, let me sharpen that. So make sure it's sharpened on that, just so you can really get in there. So those light areas that we left open, I want you to kind of hit up with the orange. Just fill it in lightly, you don't have to press down hard. Okay, so I'm going to continue around all the tree branches, just hitting up those light areas. Down here through the bottom and the tops, and again we're just hitting up the spots that do not have the dark brown. Okay, do the same thing. Go ahead and sharpen your yellow. Take your yellow, and I want you to lightly go over that. So you're going to lightly go over your orange, kind of smooth that out. And just work your way around the tree again. Okay. Now we could, for the interest of some change so it doesn't blend too much, we could use different colors, but I really wanted to keep this warm tone. So when you're doing your own, it's completely up to you how you want to do it. Alright, you want to add some contrasting colors in there, that's fine. But for now we're going to stick with this. So now I'm going to switch back to my light brown, okay? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to fill in, much like we did with the ground down here, I'm going to fill in on these colors. Okay, so even over that dark brown, I'm going to put some pressure and fill it in. If you have to sharpen your pencil, go ahead and do so. Since we are applying a little bit more pressure than usual, we're really just trying to fill it in. Blend the colors together. So you can see our tree starting to darken and stand out a little bit more. And just continue, take your time, and work your way around the tree. Okay, so just continue to go up. Blend it in. And make sure you still hit up those orange and yellow spots. So again, this is still a tree after all, so it should still be kind of like a brown orangish color when you're done with it. Done with that side. Okay, so just keep pushing it through, smooth it out, just like that. Alright, yep, any areas you might have missed. And we're going to do one last thing. We're going to take this dark brown, okay, and we're really going to push it almost like it's a black, okay. So some of these areas, we're going to come in and add some detail in it, okay. Just to bring our tree back out again. Okay. So I'm going to go around this outside edge here and really bring back some of that definition that we're losing. So I'm just hitting up some of these underside edges where it's dark, just to make it stick out some more. Okay, so I'm really applying that pressure, almost trying to make it like a black color tone. Okay, so I'm going to do this here. Like that. On this underside. Go ahead and turn under. Hit these bottom areas here. And I don't want to forget that. Okay. Then if you wanted to, you can come in here and you can add some additional line work to make it look like this tree's got more bark to it. Okay, mainly just in these bigger areas. Alright, so that's going to take care of the tree here. Let's go ahead and start with leaves up here, and like I said, we're going to be pushing red a little bit more. So what I want to do is I want you to take your orange, okay, and I want you to go ahead and start filling in just fill in the tree leaves. Okay, so just go around, give it a nice coat of orange. Again, I'm not pressing down super hard, but I'm not going super duper light, so just medium pressure. Okay, so let's keep working our way around. And the trick with these leaves are going to be adding, shape language to it to make it seem like it's closer, has a little bit more detail without having to draw every single leaf that's in this picture. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and work our way through. Make sure we hit everything up. Go around your branches. Don't forget this is part of it up here. Just work your way through. Almost done here. And then just be careful as you work your way down the side edge of your paper. Try not to just, go straight down. When we blend it, it'll fix it a little bit, but if you can, try to just kind of lightly go up and down on the edge and then go side to side like this to kind of keep the flow the same so it doesn't look like a direct intentional like straight line to it. Okay, now we have that orange. Let's just switch to a red. Okay, so we're gonna add some red in here and really make our tree pop. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay like down in these bottom regions down here, these undersides. We're gonna lightly come over with this red and really get those darker regions to be that color. Now I'm not coloring it in darkly, as you can see there's still the white specks because we're going to blend that in with something else. But we really want to hit these undersides here with our red colors. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do these kind of like we did with the branches and make these little subtle shape changes. So see how I'm just kind of going up and down. Let's actually move this over this way under the tree so we can actually fill all that in. So that'll be the underside. So again, that'll all be red. Continue to fill it in. Okay. Now obviously this whole back side is underneath, so it's going to be red down in here. Again, I'm not pressing down super hard or nothing. Okay, I'm going to come in here and get these other kind of jagged shapes. Through here, and then fill that in. just keep going with it. Like I said, I know it's a little time consuming filling in some of these larger areas, but that's just part of the process. All gonna be worth it when you're done. Okay, so we're gonna keep filling that in. Making that red. Okay. Now I'm gonna move up into this area. I'm gonna put a few little jaggedness up in there. And come up here. And do the same. And now this whole region down in here, I want to put a slight twinge here just to kind of throw it off so it's not just completely the same. And same thing in here. I'm going to draw another shape like that. Okay, just break it up a little bit. So the rest of that will all just get red. Just going to fill that in. And then this underside here is all going to be more shadow than not, so we're going to fill that in red as well. Again, just like we did with the orange, we don't want to do too much of this up and down, so try to hit it in side to side if you can, just to keep the flow even. Okay, so we're just filling that in. We're going to take our yellow and we're going to hit up just these top edges to our tree. So we won't see a huge difference. We're just going to hit up that top edge because we're going to go back over in orange anyway. Just these upper regions of the lighter area. Okay. Then switch back to your orange and really go over that. And we're going to fill it in and smooth it out. So you're going to apply some pressure. You're going to do that over the top of everything to include the red. Okay. Just go ahead and blend that out. And again, if you need to sharpen your pencil, do so. We're going to put that pressure on there to really smooth out that color difference. Okay. Now we got more of like a red-orange going on here. Okay. Let's just continue to blend and smooth. Fill that in. Just using that orange to blend. Okay. Said, if you need to sharpen, sharpen. Alright, just continue. Make sure you blend around those brown spots that we made from the little peek through areas. Let's continue on. Continue smoothing it out. I said, with practice, you get more and more, because there's obviously a lot of details we could put in this to really spruce it up. But again, we're not doing that advanced level stuff here. Just enough to get you used to blending colors and seeing what works and what doesn't work, so that you can go on to create your own masterpieces later on down the line. So I'm really applying the pressure on this. Like, I'm not trying to make it like, dark orange or anything, but I'm putting enough that, it's wearing down the graphite for the color pencil wax that's in there, and just blending it in. Just really making sure it's nice and solid so it stands out in the foreground here. Should be last little bit. I'll smooth that out. This bottom piece here. Alright, now I want to take your light brown. Go ahead and take your light brown, and I want you to come to these darker regions down here. Okay, so what we're going to do is add a little bit more to it, make it stand out. So I'm just filling in like these very bottom parts of the red. Okay, so these bottom areas down here, just applying some pressure and blending it in. Okay, so same thing down here. Just blending a little bit of it, putting some shape work in here. Give a little bit more, so I'm just adding these curves in. Almost like, think of it like kind of drawing like half bubbles into the tree. These little archies. Okay. Let's put a little bit over here. And notice you don't have to hit up every single area. We're just kind of putting it in places closest to the branch or any turns that we have in our leaf shapes. Okay, I'm going to do one more over here. Stretch that down into the bottom there. Okay, now that just leaves our sky and clouds, but we're going to go ahead and take care of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my orange again. So I'm going to sharpen that real quick. I'm going to just continue what we left off with over there. So I'm going to put some orange in here. I'm going to take some yellow. And then put some more yellow below that. And I'm going to take my light brown. And I'm going to put a little bit of pressure going over that. Okay, I'll take my orange. Over this bottom region here, Switch back to the light brown. Add some color over that. Let's push that orange up this way a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to smooth it all out with that yellow to push the colors into each other. Okay. Alright, so now for our sky. What we're going to do is, you have to think about like a sunset, so why the sky is so red, towards the end. It's because red takes the longest for light to reach. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, let's do this. Let's start with orange. Okay? Let's lightly, not the clouds, but just color in the orange sky. Okay, so try not to get up in your clouds as much as possible. Alright, so we're going to go about this high. Okay, I'm just doing it lightly, giving ourselves a nice little light orange coat up here at the top. Filling that in. Okay, so just all the way over to here. I'm going to do yellow down in this region, so I'm going to put some pressure right here. And just do this bottom portion right here in yellow. Okay, just blend that in. Take my orange again. Back over the yellow. And then I'm going to go yellow one last time, and that's where I'm really going to push it and blend in and smooth out that bottom section down there. I'm going to switch to red. I'm going to lightly fill in with red on the rest of the top up here. Just lightly. Okay. Try not to get inside your clouds. Just fill that in. Then I want you to bleed that down lightly into the orange. So even those areas down in here, just bleed that in. Light coat of red. Now switch back to your orange again. Again, see how that's getting darker right there? I'm not applying too much pressure at all. It's just starting to blend in with that red. So you want to push that orange over the top, smooth out that red. So we're just pushing that orange back up into those areas that we had lightly colored orange. And just work our way up. Let's come over here. Some of that. Okay. Come behind the clouds here and do the same. Now switch back to your red again. Okay, so we're going to go back over lightly this top area right here. Okay, I'm going to smooth that out. Once you have that, take your orange again and come to the edge line of that red and just go back over it again. That way it'll help smooth it out. Okay. Now I want you to take a violet or a purple, and since our sky is getting darker, we're going to hit up this top part with that violet. Since we're starting to transition to that night sky, so we'll keep going with that. Fill in this end over here. Okay, and then just like we did with the orange, we're going to need to go back over it with the red again. Okay, so I'm going to push that. So we get a little bit darker. Continue across. Go over. Okay. And we're going to do one final pass with the purple or the violet, whichever one you picked. Okay, I'm going to really try to blend that out. Run that across, pick up your red one last time. Over that and smooth it out. Okay, you can see I'm kind of bleeding down into that red orange. That's fine. So we want it to kind of be more of a smooth transition anyway. So let's do that. Okay, all that leaves us with is our clouds. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of put some shapeage to it to make it stand out. So the first thing we're going to do is like up in these top areas of the clouds up here, I'm going to kind of put that yellow in here. So I'm going to color that out, and I'm going to make these curves. Okay, give our clouds that kind of a puffy shape. Alright, I'm going to do that for these other two as well. Color that out. like that. Okay. So now we have that yellow established. We can switch to a little bit of a twinge of orange. Let me sharpen that. Okay. So I'm going to push a little bit of orange in there. So let's kind of make these two little bumps here. And we're going to shade that in and kind of push it into the yellow a little bit. It's okay. Alright. Okay. I'm going to come over here, kind of do the same. I'm going to put a curve, a curve. Again, you can push up into the yellow just a little bit. I'm going to fill that in orange. Okay. Come back here, a couple curves. And we're going to blend that in as well. Alright, now I'm going to put a slight bit of orange here. And I'm going to take our yellow and we're going to blend. So we're really going to fill that in. Blend it. Just really push into that orange. Put some pressure. Smooth it out. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing over this orange here. And then work on the other clouds. And then as you work towards like the underside of clouds, and it'd be good to probably sit there and study it. Maybe I'll make a video on how to do clouds. Like I said, we're just going for more an impressionistic version of this. So if you want to work on like detailed clouds and stuff, we can do that in another video if you'd like. But usually when you get towards the underside, the color starts to change. So we're going to go with a dark brown. Okay, we're going to lightly come in here and fill in those clouds. Okay. So I'm using a dark brown. I know it looks black, but it is a dark brown. Just lightly filling those in. Okay. Now, the trick to this is going to be the blending the bottom and then that slow transition to dark on the underside. Okay, so we're just filling that in. Alright, so I'm going to take that violet. I'm going to come down here to the bottom with that violet and just lightly create these shapes right here, filling that in. I'm going to come in here since this is a separate cloud here. I'm going to do the same thing. This bottom area, put a little curve to it right here, go down, put another curve to it right here, come over, here. Okay. Now I'm going to take that orange and I'm going to blend it down into this brown just a little. Okay. Do the same thing over here. Just kind of bleed it down a little bit. And we'll do the same for here. So I'm going to take that dark brown again, and I'm going to smooth it out over this purple. Okay, so again I'm just lightly doing it. I'm pressing down hard. Okay, I'm going to take my light brown, sharpen it. Take my light brown and blend over the top of that dark brown and that orange that I brought down in there. I'm going to fill that in. And then what we're going to do is you can either kind of stop after this point if you don't have this next color, because I know it's kind of hard to come by. If you have a white colored pencil, okay, that's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to go over everything and smooth it out with this white. Okay. Just really color over that. Smooth that in there. Give it kind of that foggy color to it. And help blend that together. Again, just go over all of it. The white, and yes, I am, you can tell by how small my white is getting, I am putting pressure on this. To really help smooth it and blend it out. Again, we're not going for like professional level, Bob Ross, whatever. We're just going for that impressionist look. So people should be able to look at it and tell what it is. And that's your goal. Okay. So, last thing we're going to do, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, I'm going to take our dark brown again. Okay, I really want you to come in here and touch up this bottom area. Okay, just so that it'll stand out more against that autumn fiery sunset we got going on. To go back over and fill it in some more. This time with some pressure. Okay, so even your grass. Let's go back over it. sketch one more time. Let's stick to the center regions. I don't have to go all the way out to the edges. Stick to the center regions. And fill it in with some touches of orange. I'm going to take my light brown and probably hit this up a little bit. So, this is an intermediate level landscape with colored pencils. Hope you learned something about blending colors and fixing it. So, like I said, you should have yourself a nice little scene here with trees, some mountains in the background, and the sun setting. Alright, so I hope you had fun. I know it was long, but thanks for sticking with me. And until next time, keep sketching, and I'll see you in the next one.